Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Rory with Roar Sports Media, and I know that I haven't talked to Bengals in a while, but honestly, they haven't given me a whole lot to talk about. I figured I'd catch up in the 3 week breakdown of what's happened and the development of Joe Burrow and the recent happenings that's happened within the organization. But first, the intro. Boom. So, like I said, I'm going to be going over the Bengals' last 3 games, the Ravens, the Colts, and the Browns. So, hasn't been very well. We are 0 and 3 in those last 3 games. But there are some good things, but a lot of bad things for the most part. Let's get to the Ravens first, and let's just say that to the Bengals offensive line because they let Joe Burrow get absolutely demolished for 7 sacks, and it just doesn't look like the Bengals were even in this game ever. Really, it just looks like they never got started. The defense actually played pretty decent for this game. Here, let's go to some of the stats real fast. And Lamar Jackson only had 180 yards. I mean, he threw for 2 TDs, but Mark Andrews is freaking crazy. He threw an INT, but it's not like he went off or nothing. Rushing wise, I think Lamar only got like 3 yards. So I mean, but whenever your offense is that effective, I guess you don't have to throw for a whole lot and you practically not rush at all. Um, Lamar didn't go crazy, and I feel like the Bengals defense held him in check pretty well for most of the game. But the offense never got started. And I honestly think this was Joe Burrow's worst game. Because, I mean, yeah, the offensive line gave up 7 sacks, but a lot of that was because Joe Burrow was holding the ball and trying to make a play when it wasn't there instead of just throwing it away. Yeah, this was an absolute embarrassment, and it had to come from the Ravens, which is one of the AFC North rivals. Yeah, so I remember like I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning just to watch this game. I got through like the first 2 possessions. I was like, oh, this is the kind of game we're having. I have to work in 3 hours. I'm gonna go back to bed. Yeah, so the Ravens absolutely massacred the Bengals in this game. They never stood a chance. The offensive line just let Joe down, and Joe let the offensive line down also by holding the ball so long. T. Higgins did actually look very good, and of course Tyler Boyd, big levels, also showed out a little bit. Joe Mixon had a crazy catch, so that was pretty cool. Like I said, the defense played pretty good. They held Lamar down for most of the game, but it is what it is. Um, it's the Ravens. They're a good team. So the Bengals versus the Colts in Week 6 went kind of crazy. It was a very wonky game. The Bengals in the very beginning got a lot of luck with Jack Doyle fumbling the ball and then them going up 21-0. And you thought that this was going to be a blowout. Joe Burrow was slinging the ball, man. Like he was going crazy. T. Higgins went the hell off. AJ Green had a little renaissance, and Tyler Boyd was doing his thing, man. Joe Bernard was getting on the fun too. Got himself a TD. Joe Mixon was looking pretty decent also. So the first half of the game, you thought the Bengals were just gonna go out there and kill it, and for the first half, I mean quarter and a half, they did until the Rivers Renaissance happened and his arm came alive and he decided to pull a little Tom Brady. So, Philip Rivers really started to show up in, second quarter, about midway through. He started to come alive and then just slinging balls, man. Philip Rivers looked like he was in his prime and not the shell of himself from last year. And the Colts on the other side of the ball were the complete opposites. They started off extremely slow in the way they started off the game. They were freaking horrible. After Jack Doyle fumbled the ball, like the Bengals took a 21-0 lead and just I wish they would have stepped on their throats, but they didn't. But yeah, they played horribly in the very beginning. Through the first quarter and a half, they were just not good, and then you had them just turn it on, man. Philip Rivers looked like prime Philip Rivers, where he just went the hell off with his awkward throwing motion he has. I have no idea how he throws the ball. It's crazy. His mechanics are horrible, but I got the job done. He went out there and did his thing. Uh, the man, I can't believe they came back, but they had an incredible 2.5 quarters on the back half of the game. They went off, man. Like the Bengals defense went from being rock solid to Swiss cheese real fast. I don't know what the Colts did, but they took full advantage of whatever defense they were running. Because in the second half, the Bengals defense was almost non-existent. You know Philip Rivers was doing whatever the heck he wanted to do, and it was honestly really sad. Um, it was a heartbreaker, but I mean the Bengals were competitive, and that's all I can ask for this year. I know we weren't going to go to the playoffs. I mean, I was hoping we were going to go to the playoffs, hoping we were, but it is what it is. And at this point, man, if we win, great. If we lose, also great, because I want Panay Sewell out of Oregon to protect Joe for the rest of his career. But, it is what it is. And the Bengals lost 31-28. So it is what it is. So in the third game, it's the Bengals versus the Browns in the battle for Ohio. And this game was actually very exciting. This was a true classic in every sense. Like it was back and forth. Defense was making plays, offense was making plays. Both teams were very crisp in their execution of the game plans that were set. Yeah, of course, the Bengals lost, but it was actually really, really good football to watch. I was entertained the entire time. Clearly, we're missing a lot of talent on the defensive side, but for the people that were there, they played a pretty good game. It wasn't like horrible, but I think that the real stars of the show were the offenses, man. Baker Mayfield, yes, I'm not a huge fan of him, never have been, never will be. And he looked good, he looked decent. He can throw the ball, but I don't think he's a special talent but in any way. I think he's surrounded by a bunch of great players. And man, the Browns have really changed the way they draft. They have been killing it, man. Like, I mean, I could go on for about 5 minutes on how well they've drafted. And they're free agents, too. Like the Kareem Hunt pickup, I mean, after he kicked a girl in the face, yes, don't do that. But still, he's an incredible talent. I mean, I knew that coming out of Toledo. Uh, the Browns have really impressed me in their offseason efforts. And, the Bengals are getting there. And I think that this next year we're going to see a little bit more because well, we just got Carlos Dunlap off the books, so that frees up about $9 million. So, you hate to see Carlos go, but it helps out the team. By the way, appreciate you, Los. Um, in this game, like really, AJ Green still being productive. You love to see it. Gio Bernard also being very productive in Joe Mixon's stead. He was out with a foot injury. I think he's going to be out against the Titans too today. But Gio is a great backup, and I think that Samaje Perine and Travion Williams are going to play also today. But Tyler Boyd's still Tyler Boyd. T. Higgins is showing out, man. He is looking incredible. I feel very secure when AJ does decide to hang it up. T. Higgins is basically AJ Green Jr. T has said that AJ is his favorite player and he models his game after him. So him coming to the Bengals, which is his favorite team, you gotta love it, man. You gotta feel safe with that pick, and just comfortable because you know that he's gonna want to stay here, not necessarily take less money, but he's gonna enjoy being a Bengal and easier to re-sign for however long he wants to be here. But I think the real weak point in the Bengals still yet in the secondary is covering tight ends, man. Bryant and Njoku for the Browns tore us apart. I think Bryant had 2 touchdowns and Njoku had 1, and I believe almost all of them were on Von Bell. So I like Von. I think he's a very physical player, a team leader, but his coverage skills have always been pretty at best. But it is what it is. The entire secondary is kind of hurt right now. We don't have Trey Waynes, and hopefully when he gets back, that will help out the lineup. Sorry about that. But it is what it is. The Bengals are being competitive, and that's all I wanted to see, because last year in these games they were just rolling over and just kind of taking it, man. I'm not saying they weren't trying. I'm just saying that they weren't competitive at all. They at no point in the game did you feel like they were in there. Yeah, and it was a heartbreaker at the very end with Baker throwing that miracle pass, which Darius Phillips actually did almost break up. If it had been like a split second sooner to get your head around. But, those things happen. I wish the defense stood a little bit more solid, but, the entire game, it was kind of like that. Baker was just on, and Donovan Peoples-Jones just made the play. So, I mean, that happens. But looking forward to Bengals versus Titans. I'm going to get into a little bit of the controversies that's been happening also with the Bengals. Like I said, we traded Carlos Dunlap for Feeney, guard center hybrid from the Seahawks, and I believe we also got a conditional seventh rounder also. So, Carlos was clearly not happy being here. He saw his reps on defense go down, and I can get it. He's a competitor. He wants to play, and now he's a Seahawk. The Bengals they actually sent him to a competitor, which is everybody's winning in that. We get his cap off our books. We got another guard to help out the offensive line. I'm not saying he's going to be great, but he's a very good backup. And a 7th-round pick could also help, because you never know what you're going to get. Carlos, I wish you best of luck with Seattle, man. Hopefully you get a ring up there, because you ain't going to get it here this year. Love you, Los. Appreciate you. Also, staying with Washington, there's John Ross, the Washington Huskies product that we drafted 9th overall, who didn't really produce for us in the past 4 years. I mean, 10 touchdowns, but in those 4 years, he didn't get over 1,000 yards in 4 years. So, do with that what you will. I mean, I was never a John Ross fan. I'm going to put the picture right here to show you. I didn't love the pick. I felt like we had other needs. We needed speed at wide receiver, but I didn't love him coming out of college. He had one fantastic year, and I didn't like him. I mean, he's always been injury prone. I just didn't care for him. But hopefully, wherever the hell he goes, if he stays, I don't know. I don't think he will. He doesn't want to be a Bengal. And frankly, if he doesn't want to be a Bengal, I don't want to be a Bengal. I wish him the best of luck. And hopefully you can find success wherever the hell you go. All right, guys. So that was my breakdown for the Bengals the last 3 weeks. I'm going to try and stay more consistent with covering the Bengals. It's just I'm trying to cover a lot of different teams, and this past 2 weeks have been really difficult for me to actually upload some videos and cover football, which I love to do, but I couldn't really do it with my job. So I'm going to try and stay more consistent with the Bengals and covering them, but, it is what it is, and I'll try to, if I do miss a week, I'll come back and I'll double back like I did with this. I appreciate you watching my video. Thank you so much. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. All helps me grow. And you know what? Welcome to the Roar. Peace. Boom.